Hello everyone, and welcome back to Harry and Meghan Tales, the place where we cut through the nonsense and get straight to the heart of the media's latest fixation on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I'm your host, Adrian, and today we're diving into what might just be one of the most ridiculous royal headlines yet: Prince Harry's hair, or, as some would have you believe, the lack thereof. Yes, folks. The British media has decided that out of all the things happening in the world, global issues, political shifts, humanitarian crises, the real breaking news is whether Prince Harry should shave his head or get a hair transplant. Let's talk about it. A hairy situation, the media's fixation on Prince Harry's appearance. The British media, known for its voracious appetite for royal news, seems to have developed a peculiar obsession: Prince Harry's hair, or more specifically, the perceived lack thereof. The relentless focus on his hairline has become a recurring theme in tabloids and gossip columns. Articles and headlines abound, dissecting the prince's hairline with a scrutiny that borders on the absurd. Every new photograph of him seems to spark a fresh wave of speculation and commentary. One can't help but wonder, in a world grappling with climate change, political upheaval, and a lingering pandemic, is the state of a prince's scalp really headline news? The contrast between the gravity of global issues and the triviality of such coverage is stark. This fixation on such a trivial matter speaks volumes about the media's skewed priorities. It reflects a broader trend of sensationalism that often overshadows more pressing and meaningful stories. It highlights a tendency to prioritize sensationalism over substance, to focus on the superficial rather than the significant. This approach not only undermines the credibility of the media, but also distracts the public from issues that truly matter. Prince Harry, a man who has dedicated his life to serving others, deserves better than to be reduced to a punchline about his hairline. His contributions to various causes, from mental health to veteran support, are far more newsworthy. It's time we, the consumers of this media, demand better. We have the power to influence what gets covered by choosing what we read and share. Let's encourage a shift in focus, a move towards stories that matter, stories that inspire, stories that reflect the complexities of the world we live in. By doing so, we can help foster a more informed and engaged society. Prince Harry's hair, dare I say, is not one of them. Let's look beyond the surface and appreciate the substance of his character and contributions. The British media has a long and storied history of turning molehills into mountains, particularly when it comes to the royal family. Every public appearance, every offhand comment, every fashion choice is meticulously scrutinized and analyzed for hidden meaning. This microscopic focus often results in the magnification of trivial matters, while truly important issues are relegated to the sidelines. Take, for example, the recent flurry of articles about Prince Harry's hair. What began as a few casual observations about a slightly receding hairline quickly spiraled into a full-blown media frenzy. Tabloids published side-by-side photographs charting the supposed dramatic changes in the prince's hair density. Expert opinions were sought, with hairdressers and stylists offering their professional assessments on the matter. This obsessive focus on Prince Harry's appearance is not merely harmless gossip. It reflects a larger trend within the British media, a tendency to prioritise sensationalism and superficiality over substance and meaning. This is not to say that the royal family should be immune to scrutiny or criticism. However, when the focus becomes fixated on such trivial matters as hairlines, it's clear that something is amiss. In a world grappling with climate change, political turmoil, and a lingering pandemic, the challenges we face are monumental and require our collective focus and action. Yet, the media's obsessive focus on Prince Harry's hair seems particularly absurd and out of touch with the pressing realities. While millions face real and pressing issues, such as the devastating impacts of natural disasters and the fight for social justice, the British tabloids are busy dissecting the state of a prince's scalp, diverting attention from what truly matters. This misplaced focus is not only trivial, but it also highlights a disturbing trend in media priorities. It's deeply disrespectful to those facing genuine hardship, such as the homeless and those struggling to make ends meet. Consider the recent comments made by renowned hairstylist Sam McKnight in a piece for The Royalist, where he discussed Prince Harry's hair. While McKnight's observations about Prince Harry's hair were relatively benign and perhaps even well-intentioned, the fact that they were even considered newsworthy is telling of our skewed media landscape. In a world where countless individuals struggle with poverty, hunger, and lack of access to basic necessities, the media chose to dedicate time and resources to analysing the hair of a wealthy prince, a choice that seems almost surreal. This decision to focus on the trivial over the significant is symptomatic of a larger problem within the media landscape. It reflects a culture that values sensationalism over substance, prioritising entertainment over enlightenment. It reflects a culture that values sensationalism over substance, a culture that prioritises clicks and views over meaningful dialogue and critical thinking. This obsession with the superficial serves only to distract us from the real issues facing our world, issues that demand our attention and action. This obsession with the superficial serves only to distract us from the real issues facing our world, issues that deserve our attention and action. We must shift our focus back to the critical matters at hand and work together to create a better future for all. The media's preoccupation with Prince Harry's hair becomes even more perplexing when contrasted with the treatment of his brother, Prince William. Despite both brothers experiencing similar issues with hair loss, while Harry's receding hairline is subject to constant scrutiny and speculation, often making headlines and becoming a topic of public discussion, William's own hair loss has been met with relative silence. The media seems to turn a blind eye to William's thinning hair, rarely mentioning it in their coverage. This glaring double standard raises questions about the media's motives and their selective focus on certain members of the royal family. It exposes a clear bias in their coverage of the two princes, suggesting that there are underlying reasons for this disparity. Why is Harry's hair deemed headline-worthy, attracting so much attention and commentary, while William's is largely ignored? The difference in treatment is stark and puzzling. Could it be that Harry's decision to step back from royal duties and forge his own path has made him a more appealing target for the British tabloids? His choice to distance himself from the traditional royal role might have made him more vulnerable to media attacks, and forge his own path has made him a more appealing target for the British tabloids? Or is it simply because he has chosen a different path, one that challenges the status quo? Or perhaps it's his marriage to Meghan Markle, a woman of colour who has been subjected to relentless and often racist attacks from the British press. A woman of colour who has been subjected to relentless and often racist attacks from the British press that has made him fair game for this kind of scrutiny. The media's treatment of Meghan has been harsh and unforgiving, and by extension, Harry has also faced increased scrutiny. That has made him fair game for this kind of scrutiny. The media's relentless focus on their relationship has only intensified the scrutiny on Harry. Whatever the reason, this double standard is unacceptable. It highlights the media's tendency to pick and choose its targets. Often based on sensationalism rather than substance. To apply different rules to different members of the royal family, creating an uneven playing field that is influenced by factors unrelated to their character or their work. Based on factors that have nothing to do with their character or their work. This selective coverage distorts public perception and creates a biased narrative. This biased coverage not only undermines the credibility of the media, calling into question their objectivity and fairness, but also perpetuates harmful stereotypes, reinforcing negative perceptions and biases that can have real-world consequences, and reinforces existing power structures. The media's role should be to inform and educate, not to perpetuate bias and inequality.